How you guys doing? Hey, John, can you hear me okay? Audio, all right? Everything working? Hi, Dom. John, let me address that. Yes, affordable is relative. That that's true. Um, I suppose there's sort of a tiering of affordability, and so it's define collector. Yeah, a collector. A collector is one who has very little impulse control, who likes watches and buys them anyway, whether he or she can afford them or not. Uh, has way too many, doesn't know why, or at least isn't sure. That's a collector. How does that sound, Rancher, so far? Hey, neighbor, how's it going? Monsieur de Chanel, good to see you. Hey, Mask, affordability is personal. Now, come on, you guys. I don't go getting too profound on me, okay? Oh, jeez. Hey, Caesar. Casio, okay. Hi, Euro Nick. Agreed, glycine. Okay. Glycine, especially the Airman, a historic watch at an incredibly low price. First watch with multiple time zone display, beating the Rolex GMT Master to the market by a year. I didn't know that. I know very little about glycine, so that's an interesting one to bring up. Hi, Ben. Hi, Brian. Hamilton. Yeah, Hamilton's got a lot of interesting options. What I suppose one of the things that I want to sort of exclude right away are quartz watches and watches with silicon hairsprings. So I think that one of the best, most fun watches is still the Tissot Heritage Petite Seconde. So it's that kind of watch because hey, you can have some fun with it and do a lot of different things. Tudor, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, Tudor is a good one. Plus, the Glycine Airman went to space with NASA on the Mercury missions. I didn't know that either. Boy, I tell you, Euro Nick, this is great stuff. Movado Museum. That is not a bad idea. It really isn't. That's a very interesting watch. The Movado. Hadn't thought of that. I guess no, most hypothetically, but I don't own or want one. That's another thing. That's a good point, Mask. If you don't want one, wouldn't be collectible. There are a lot of watches that I guess are good watches, at least according to some, but I just not interested. So that's another criteria, which is what one does everybody want that everybody can afford? I don't know. I was thinking, and again, we're talking relative. You say, what's the best one under 10,000? What's the best one under 5,000? What's the best one under 1,000? And what's the best one under 100? Let me answer that. What's the best one under 100? And that is my Faveluba Twin Power. Why is it the best one? Well, first of all, it's under $100. Second of all, it runs at 18,000 semi-oscillations per hour, like just all of the great watches by all of the great watchmakers. And it has a double barrel in parallel, which is another. And not only is it rare, um, but this thing, I took it when I first got it and opened it up, took my toothpick tool to it, and I regulated it, and it's been keeping for really fantastically good time ever since then. I'm going to get some oils and stuff like that. I think one of the things that we might want to say is that what watch do you every time you wear it, it's fun. I mean, there's certain watches I have, not all of them are affordable. That every time I put them on, I just really having a good time. It's sort of like one affordable one is my Dandy. I love my Dandy. That's especially a Chaumet Dandy. Love that thing, and it's fun to wear. And just looking at this Ferris wheel go around perfectly slowly and mesmerized, you know, and that was inexpensive. Rancher, the Seiko in general. I was thinking of that right off the bat. That was the first one that came to mind. So what watch would be that? I own a Seiko, and that's my Seiko 5, and I got it for under $100. So it's certainly, I think for most people that's pretty affordable. Uh, and yeah, so I think in general, same thing you could say about Orient watches. They have that same kind of affordability to them. They may be made by the same. I'll tell you another company is Perpetual. It's a Chinese company. They were the ones that made my what was it called? Regulator. They made my regulator. $200. Those things they kept selling out. Everybody wanted one, so he raised the price, and now you can't get them for under 220, I think. Another watch that there are a lot of fun Chinese watches. Um, Victorinox iBox, the most indestructible watch in the world. I thought it was Bremont. They were indestructible too. They protect their ETA movements. Yeah, I know. If you go into a lot of different watches, there's a Swiss watch, and I don't remember the name of it. And it's designed after the clocks in the Swiss railroad stations, and it's a very affordable watch, but very cool looking watch because it looks like one of the clocks you're going to see when you pull into a Swiss train station. Forgot the name of it. Um, Not a specific brand or model, but I'm starting to open to the idea of smaller watches as a way to get a fantastic watch. That's a good point, Brian. Yeah, there are a lot of great deals. You go just going from 38 to 36. You go down to 36 and below, and you can find all kinds of really good deals. Hey, Caesar, I'll take a 12-year-old any day making watches. They got talent and little bitty hands that they can do things with. No, my Fave Luba is made in Switzerland. It says so right here, I think. Let me look. I got to double check to make sure. I don't want to. Yep, totally Swiss made. Ta-da! I think they may be made in India now because there's a big company in India that owns a lot of stuff called Tata, I believe is the name of it, and they own all kinds of things. I think they own Fave Luba now. Yeah, yeah. Uh, it's keeping them off the streets. That's true. Keeping the 12-year-olds off the streets. Yeah, they don't want certain bad influences around like us. Okay, what else do you guys have? Timex. Yeah, Timex is interesting. Baltic is another really good one, Rodzia. Uh, Baltic is one of those, I don't know, they're sort of like, they have a lot of interesting designs. I don't know what kind of movements they make. I think they use Salida movements, but I'm not sure. How many watches do you have? About 20 something, Caesar. Pocket watches are incredibly unfashionable and are dirt cheap. Absolutely. Very good point. Um, yeah, I've already broken one that I bought. I bought one um, for I wanted a key wound. I'd read this. I don't know. How many of you guys have Daniel George Daniel's book Watchmaker? Uh, I was reading it. I That book you sort of read, you go into different spots of it, and I was sort of read a lot of it, and so I was reading about key wound, and George Daniels was like, "Wow, you guys, if you don't have a key wound watch," it's like what? And one of the reasons he likes key wound is the keyless works in a watch for at least for him take up unnecessary room and sort of mess up a watch. And so all you need is a key wound that goes right in under the barrel and whack, 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 wind it up and put the key where you can't lose it, which is means in my case it would be multiple keys, put them somewhere. And so I was working on a thing and working beautifully until I broke it. That's one of those things. But yeah, you want to get a watch, a fusee and chain. You want a fusee and chain. You can find them. Now you can find some Remontois, but I don't know if they're Remontois Galates in pocket watches. You'll find Remontois, but I'm not sure if they are Remontois Galates or something else. Mondane, yeah, they're good. Hey, Ellie, Mondane. I sort of not sure about them. Oh, okay. Is that the railroad watch? Okay, thanks. Thank you. Um, look for vintage pieces IRL, but make sure you have a good watchmaker lined up first, like Tatas. Yeah, you become with the Tatas are with my Fabre Lubas. That's how I'm going to become a good Fabre Luba watchmaker. I've got to get the. Do any of you bought any of the lubricants they have? The from what I understand, the best kind of lubricant to get is a not artificial, but synthetic. Get synthetic ones because the natural ones tend to break down more. So if you put in the synthetic oils, the right ones, and do it in the right way and not put in too much, it's all kinds of rules that you got to follow for that stuff. Then you can really do a lot of stuff. Mr. Valju, yes, Nomos. Okay. Annabelle, Mondane, you don't recommend they're very fragile quality. Okay. Ollie, I think the new Sin 903 ST is still a bargain. Nav timer. Mondane railroad clock design. Thanks. Hey, Rustem, Soviet Strela chronometers may be interesting. They were in open space and also Sturm style, first watch in space. Hey, Lee, how you doing? I think LUC Chopard Sports or Girard-Perregaux Seahawks are among the best in terms of quality. Rustem, I agree with you. Those are, I mean, for affordable at a certain level, I'll put it that way. Yes, I really think it's a good idea. Okay, what else you guys have? That non-vintage from the 80s and 90s, yellow gold, moon phase pointer dates. Wow, those are good ones. Hey, HRM, Longines and Nomos are some of the best value brands, in my opinion. I agree on both counts. I have my Longines is just runs beautifully. The name they have, they got this big long name, but basically, it's a equation of time. That's just a great little watch for that. It also too. It was to celebrate the 89th anniversary of Longines, and they put in the thickest enamel. It's got this real nice enamel, and you can see the depth of the enamel in the little windows they have that show the sunrise and sunset, the declination of the of the of the earth, I guess. I mean, it's a honey of a watch. That's another thing. Maybe watches. With every now and then, you'll get a what we'll call a celebratory watch, and these are watches that the watch company, for one reason or another, is celebrating something. One of the first ones I got like that is the Vacheron Constantin 1972. In 1972, Vacheron Constantin got what was called it was a big prize that France gives out, the Honor of France or something like that. It was also the first time they ever gave it to a watch company, and very rarely do they give it to anybody outside of France. Prestige de France, I think is the name of it. Anyway, so I think the interesting thing was that they got this award, and it was like the next day comes out the Vacheron Constantin 1972. It's a really interesting watch. Well, it went along for a while, and they thought, well, they're going to try something different. And they came out with a new one in 1999, and that was the one I got. And I had it for years. The problem with it was awfully small, but it was so cool in a lot of other ways. The entire design was based on. You guys familiar with phi, PHI? It's an irrational number, and it's used in architecture. As part of the the sequence. It's part of the. Forgot the name of a sequence, but there's a certain sequence of numbers, and anyway, the difference between the numbers is 1.6 point something or other, and like phi, like pi, is an irrational number. Anyway, that was in 1972. And then in 2013, they came out with a gorgeous one. And you can find those. You can find some really good buys on those Vacheron Constantins, and they're really cool watches. They're really unpopular, and so they finally dropped them all together. But that's another watch that that thing is really nice. I was surprised too when I sold mine. I think I got it. I got it from a pawn shop. Some pawn shop somewhere was advertising it for sale, and the guy dealing with pawn shop dealers can be those guys are tough. And so these guys were rah, 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 and I got a great price on it. They don't know as much about watches as they thought they did, and so I sold it later on at on auction for about twice what I paid for it. But that's another one that you don't see a lot of. It's called 1972 Prestige de France or something like that. Take a look at that watch. See if you can find one for a good buy, especially the one that came out in 2013. The original one and the one that came out in 2013 are really interesting. The one that came out in 1999 is also, but anyway. Okay, what else do you guys have? Listen, young people, affordable means under $500, over 1,000 starts to be frantic. Oh, okay, Annabelle. Um, 70s to so, some movements as same as Omega. Good point. Yeah, one time Omega and this is sort of pre-Swatch before they were bought by Swatch. Tissot and Omega were part of the same company, and you're right, they had the same movement. And at some point, they decided we're gonna divide it up, and Omega is going to be our more expensive, and our Tissot is going to be our bargain watches. So anyway, that's an interesting point, though. Synthetic oils are prohibitively expensive. Yeah, John, they're very expensive. I found that out, but I figured, well, what the heck, you know, you pay $100 for a watch and $200 for the oil. That's sort of nuts. I'm still not going to shut up about the 18K rose gold Girard-Perregaux. Hey, I agree, man. That is couldn't agree more. I don't mind if yeah, yeah, that is a good find. Hey, Dominic, some watches from the 70s days were backwound for a clean look. Hey, Dominic, how does backwound give it a clean look? I'm missing something. I have one watch that you wind up backwards. My what's it called? The name of the watch, Van Cleef and Arpels RDC at Ur Dayer. That's the name of the watch. What a name. It's all in French too, so naturally I'll have no problem pronouncing it. Hey, Ben, how are you? Do you need a vest to properly wear a pocket watch? I think so. I think so. A vest pocket watch. I would agree with it. Hi, Gilberto. How you doing, man? Rustam, Tonek, Rayville. Not familiar with that. Hi, Rustam, Zodiac. Zodiac's an interesting brand. It really is. Hey, Ollie, the BO1 is a really nice movement, but the LJP is also a column wheel chronograph. The Sin has 200-meter water resistance in their nav timer. You know, the thing about Sin, I wish Sin would make their own movements. You know, for a while, the same thing with most of the German watches. Uh, who do you have in the German watches who are making their own movements? You got Marco Lang, and plus he made most of the movements that are at Lang and Heim. You have Moritz Grossmann, uh, Allanga, and Christian Klein, Kling, and Stefan Kadoki. but most of them and all of the popular ones are ETAs or Solitas. And I think that there's some modifications of that. Dornbirth and Sons, I think they modified it enough to be their own. And if you want to throw in Richard Habring as a German in Austria, I'm not sure you want to do that, but it was somebody was distinguishing between the Germans and the Austrians, and this one guy said, "Well, the Austrians are a Vienna waltz, and the Germans are a martial military music." And it was sort of funny. I have a German grandfather, so I'm not, I'm not prejudiced against the Germans, or the Swedes, or the English. What a mix! I'm a mutt. Okay, let's see what else you guys have. Sin bought the rights for nav timer dial during the quartz crisis. That's interesting, Ollie. I didn't know that. Hi, Mr. Volju. I would add Frederick Constant to that list. I agree. Frederick Constant is one of those ones that I think they're sort of we talk about a brand that punches above their weight. Yeah, they're owned by Citizen. They started off actually with a couple of Dutch watchmakers, and they eventually got bought. I hope they're rich. Annabelle. Listen, young people. Okay, what do you got there? You got young people. That's me. Okay. Mito is a good Swiss brand to start, I think. Yeah, Mito isn't bad. Mito's an interesting brand. They got a really interesting history, Gilberto. I put my pocket watch in my jeans on a leather lace. Okay. You can wear it any way you want to, but you need a leather vest. That's what you need. Hey, Lee, my West Texas relatives used to have long jeans. Oh, Jesus Christ. And terrible puns, too. I I think that rash of tornadoes you guys have had lately, Lee, spun your mind around. Oh, hey, mask with you. In West Texas, I prefer shorts. West Texas. I lived in really West Texas for 4 years in El Paso. You don't get much more west than that. If you move you move a block one way, you're in New Mexico. You move a block the other way, you're in Mexico. Um, Juarez used to be a fun place to visit, and then it became almost ungovernable as drug gangs took over. I don't know whether they got it straightened out yet or not. Interesting place, though. Hot. You're right. Wear shorts. I don't used to stay indoors. Okay. Fibonacci. That's what I was trying to remember. The Fibonacci sequence mask. That's exactly what it was. That's phi somehow came out of that sequence. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Hi, Timothy. Fun small vintage watch. Binrus jumping hour. Ooh, yeah, that does sound like fun. Rotating star center. Wow. That sounds very fun, Timothy. Thanks, man. Hey, Goldfinger. Eurolink. Vintage Swiss watches made for department or jewelry stores. The grant for Montgomery Ward. Yeah, wow. You got some. Those are interesting watches. Uh-oh. My time is up. My goose is cooked. Okay, guys, let me just catch a few more and then I gotta run. Hey, listen, somebody had said before I go, somebody had said, listen, why don't you have one of these devoted to nothing but questions and answers? Let's do that this afternoon. I'll just answer any questions, and if I don't know the answer, I'll make something up. Okay, just like a like a like a politician. Anyway, guys, let me take a look at some last ones here. Dominic, the crown is on the back of the watch, not the normal 3 o'clock position. Okay, thanks. That's the one. Okay, that's a cool one, Dominic. Any Soviet watch with a linen dial. Okay. Has your hoity-toity friend ever get? Hey, Rustam, Tonic is a U.S. company that makes the old school field watches. Oh, all right, Rustam, thanks. They were popular in Vietnam War among GIs. You know, some of the guys, I've met people who would pick up a $5 Rolex during the in the military PX in Saigon during that period. 70s Seiko 6139, world's first automatic chronograph. Of course, okay. All right, Ollie. Nomos and Glashütte Original also make their own movements. Yeah, they do. Nomos does. Glashütte Original, they've been, with a couple significant exceptions, they've been under the swatches ruining them, I think, stuffing in that silicone stuff. Anyway. Okay, the question is why are you doing that? Somebody asked. They said, "Hey, why don't we have a question and answer?" Anyway, so we'll have a question and answer, okay? All right, guys. Take care. See you this afternoon. And Rancher won't be there because he doesn't think it's a good idea to have a question and answer. He may be right. We'll find out. Take care.